Oh, welcome. If this is your first time here, I am ADHD Money Coach B, better known as B, the Budgeting Baddie. I am the founder of Young, Rich, and Rooted, and I help women, especially the 4 times exceptional, gifted Black women with ADHD, stop stressing about money and learn how to love themselves back to wealth. Inside my programs, we focus on 4 key skills that help you build wealth faster. Earn, budget, save, and multiply. And this week, we are kicking off the Earn Pillar Live series for 4 nights of powerful conversations designed to help you rebuild your professional confidence, position yourself strategically, and become professionally unfuckwitable in an ever-changing job market. Let's be real. The job cuts, layoffs, and policy shifts a lot of people are feeling insecure about right now in their jobs are due to this current administration. That might be a whole nother conversation we have another day. And Black women are the most educated. Let me say this again. We are the most educated group of people in the United States. Yet we are being hit the hardest when it comes to job losses and instability. And that's why this conversation is so important. So tonight, I am being joined by Tam Griffin, an HR professional and career coach renowned for helping professionals align their career goals with their personal values and navigate transitions confidently and thrive in workplaces that actually value them. I'll tell you guys more about her in just a minute, but this conversation is going to be packed with gems. So grab your notebooks, grab your pens, share the live with a friend proactively because you're not a selfish bestie, right? Tell somebody, okay? Tell somebody about this conversation. Hit the share button right now. Tell me in the comments, I'm ready. Okay? TD Jake style, okay? Get ready. And let's make this interactive. Just a reminder, replays for this live are only available to the group coaching program. So if you are in the Love Yourself Back to Wealth group cohort, congratulations, you guys get to watch the replay. If you are not, you need to show up live today through Thursday at 5 p.m. So mark your calendars, hit the reminder bell, text a friend to remind them to text you, whatever you got to do to make sure you show up live to get this tea and to ask your questions. Do what you got to do, okay? So without further delay, I am going to bring to the stage our guest, Tam. Let me bring her on in. Hey, Tam.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hi, welcome. I am so excited to have you today.
I'm excited to be here. That was a good intro too.
Thank you. You know, you all of that. So I want to make sure the people know you. I'm fortunate. For those guys who don't know our dynamic, Tam is first of all our resident career expert inside of my community. She also has a business of her own, Tam Consultant, and for those of you guys who know me personally, you may have heard me say her name even outside of this context because Tam is one of my besties. So I have been fortunate to be in the presence of her and watch her exercise the information that she's going to share with y'all in real life, in her own life. She has also helped me navigate some career transitions myself. So I don't just put anybody in front of y'all. If I put them in front of y'all, it's because I know them, like them, trust them, okay? Because I'm funny about things like that. So you are in front of one of the best career professionals that I have ever met, and she is navigating her own career transition so remarkably. And so I just felt like you guys need the tea. So thank you, Tam.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. I don't have like a beautiful introduction like Betty, so I'm gonna just keep it real sweet. My name is Tam Griffin. I'm the owner and founder of Tam Career Coaching, and I was recently impacted by those layoffs. After 10 years with my company for a long time, which is actually where I met Betty at. But I'm not angry about it at all because I'm very prepared for this. And we're going to talk about that today, right? Prepared.
Yes.
Sure that you can navigate those career transitions that you either want and anticipate or didn't anticipate. So
yes, I love that. So first of all, I can't wait for us to talk about what you've been doing because you were incredibly prepared. Like I remember getting the text message from you that the layoffs affected you. And there was like this initial kind of like, because, you care about your people and you're like, oh my gosh. But then there was like a quick like, she's going to be fine. She's going to land her feet. Like I already knew like this is going to be a quick, short switch. Like, this is going to be so timely, and it's going to be such a great opportunity for you to demonstrate how your skill work plays out in real life. So for those of you guys who are not already following Tam on her IG, she's going to start sharing some of her journey with you guys. Go and follow her at IGotTheJobTam. Because she's gonna watch it play out in real life. And I really do feel like when you get to see somebody navigate things that you are uncertain or don't feel confident in, it builds your confidence in it. I have been transparent and shared you guys with my own financial recovery journey. So, but similarly, right, we're in our field experiencing the pain that somebody else is feeling, and you're getting to watch us play it out and see that it's not as scary. That if you utilize your support systems, if you utilize the right systems, if you start to be intentional about adjusting your mindset, which is the root work, if you follow me, you can navigate things with a lot more confidence. So thank you again, Tam, for introducing yourself and telling us a more about a story. But I'm definitely going to ask you more questions about some of the things when we get on a LinkedIn day, which I can't remember if that's day 3, day 4. Anyway, all y'all watching, like I said, set your reminders. When we talk about LinkedIn, I really want to unpack your strategy because you have been killing it. Okay.
I love LinkedIn. That's my favorite social media platform. It really is.
I can tell because you don't be posting on the other ones, but LinkedIn, you eating the girls right on up on LinkedIn. I'm like, yeah. So okay, so got a couple questions because I am teaching my group class tonight, so I only get to have you for until 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna try to get in here. For those of you guys who are watching and you guys have questions, don't be afraid to ask your questions in the comments. Even if we don't get to them tonight, we will try to go through the comments and make sure that those questions get answered. So ask your questions now. It may be covered in one of the nights organically, but go ahead and ask your questions that you have around career hunting, which brings me to my question number 1.
Yes.
So what is the difference between job hunting and career planning? Because I noticed that what you specialize in is career planning. Help us understand what the difference between those two things are.
Yeah. So there is a difference, and a lot of people don't know that. Job hunting, which there's nothing wrong with either one. It just depends on where you are in life and the path that you're seeking at that moment. Mm-hmm. But job hunting is basically essentially you're looking for a paycheck. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily have any rhyme or reason. Of course, you're going to align it with things that you want to do and what you don't want to do, whether that is working in fast food or retail or not working in fast food or retail and choosing customer service on a different level. You're just going to essentially look for a paycheck. You're trying to maybe, like you did, get a job to fund your actual business in the meantime. It could be any little thing that you want. Or then the difference is career planning or career coaching or career strategic planning, anything like that. That is actually intentional. We always talk about like dating with intention. That is actually leaning into the process. That is ensuring that your skill sets align with your jobs that you're actually seeking. And then also that your morals and your values align with the company that you are seeking as well. You're not going to take anything that's less than. You're not going to take anything that's not going to feed and pour back into you. And you are for sure not going to work for a company that is not going to value you as an employee. So those would be the difference.
Come on. I love that. I love that you made the correlation between relationships because I think most people can get that connection. I find relationships are such a good analogy for a lot of things in finance. And so I love that idea of dating with intention, right? Looking for a job for a long-term purpose, which will allow you sometimes to make concessions in some places because you can see the end game. Allows you to be able to, because like when your career, I know for me, thinking about trying to develop a career in finance, there was lots of skills and jobs, things that I wanted to seek. And some of those might have meant I got a pay cut, but it gave me exposure to skills that I wouldn't otherwise have gotten. And because I had the long game in mind, I was comfortable making those adjustments to my pay because I wasn't there for the check. The check was a bonus. I was there to acquire certain skills and develop certain relationships. So that made so much sense to me. Can you be competitive in a marketplace without a degree? And if so, how do you position yourself so that companies don't care?
I would say it's yes and no. I mean, you'll hear some career coaches, and this is just a difference in opinion and it's subjective based off your career coach, but you'll have some that say, a bachelor's degree is the equivalent of a high school diploma now, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have some that says, you can have a high school diploma, but then we can stack that with certifications. We can stack that with skill sets. We can stack that with, even if you're taking a couple of classes, right? Mm-hmm. I'm that career coach. Yes. I think there's a way. I think there's a way that you can have a high school diploma, even a GED, and still have the experience, right? Because there's some people who are able to get into a position in HR. There are people who are able to get into a position in accounting very early and never achieve the degree, but have 10 plus years. Let's stack that certification. Let's stack those skill sets. Let's stack some sort of education, whether it's a small little certificate and it's 2-3 classes to be cost effective, or it's getting with a company that's going to invest in you getting that degree.
That's such a good one. And it makes me reflect. I wasn't even thinking about that, but just, I know a lot of people were surprised when I graduated that I was just graduating college, because the assumption was that I long graduated, because I've had a long career in finance. I've worked in government and in finance since I was 19 years old. And I've had a lot of different fields and areas of finance that I've worked in. And it's because I was skill stacking through experience. And so it allowed me to get into positions that you don't qualify for because without the degree, because I had so much experience and I was intentional in my job hunt, like I said before. But you did something that I didn't really get the clarity to even think to do until I worked for, probably after I left working in government procurement. It occurred to me like I missed an opportunity, that I worked in a department that approved the purchases or not, right? And I could have asked to take all kinds of trainings and certs, and it didn't even occur to me that I should or I could ask for that until I left. And I remember feeling like, man, I left so much money on the table. Forget about the paycheck. I left so much money on the table because I did not get all that they would pay for. And a lot of times we only think of how much is a check and how much and what type of health benefits we have. Like, we don't think about the other fringe benefits that the employer is offering, the total compensation package, which we're going to dig into more another day as well. But I've watched you work the system behind the scenes. Man, you talk about, baby, if you don't want to pay me, you're going to pay me. You have gotten every dollar that the company has to offer you. So I want you to talk a little bit more about, can you share how you skill stacked and how you cert stacked strategically, especially when you don't feel like you have the money to pay out of pocket? Tell me about your journey, and then tell me what somebody who really doesn't have the money to necessarily pay for those certs, what can they do in order to start this process?
Okay. So I'll quickly hop into my journey. Started off with my previous employer, was pursuing a master's at the same time, knew then that I wanted HR, got that, cool, great. But then I realized, okay, the position that I entered into this company with is not the role that I want to be at. How do I get there? After applying for that entry level role to HR that I wanted, I think it was 3 or 4 times that I got a rejection. I said, what is it that they need to see if I already had the master's, right?
Right.
I volunteered. I said, let me find a volunteer opportunity that's, going to pull away from some of my free time on a Saturday, Sunday. But when we think about individuals who are in grad programs or working adults like ourselves, internships are not possible. They're just not. We're balancing life, kids, all types of things. We don't have time to take a pay cut or not get paid at all to go sit and do a job. Not necessarily the case every time. So I volunteered at the American Red Cross on weekends doing a recruiter level, entry level thing for maybe 6 months, where I was just essentially calling for when volunteers called in and wanted to volunteer for the American Red Cross. I would talk to them, make sure they filled out their application right, schedule them for the following week to talk with that respected manager. That was my experience.
Well, first of all, can we just pause on that? Because I need y'all to know, I know her in real life and we talk all the time. I am just learning. I had no idea that you did that. That is amazing, because so many people wouldn't even think to their volunteer experience counts. And so many of us are doing things already, whether it's in church or our community, that could count as experience, but we don't list it on our resume, and we don't feel like it's valuable enough to mention when we're trying to search for what experience we have to do the job. So I love that you found a way to get the experience when they wouldn't give it to you. And also, I love the fact that you wouldn't take no for an answer. That you applied 4 times and you was like, this is what I want to do. You're going to have to keep telling me no. Like,
basically, with some sort of answer. Right. And then I got the opportunity to apply again. I wrote a beautiful cover letter that spoke to that volunteer time that I did, got the interview. And then I made sure it was up from there. As you know, you've heard some of my interview skill sets. It's a done dollar. One once I get in front of the interview, it's over at that
It's
point.
a wrap from there, okay? Landing the interview, I swear, that's the hardest part. For me, you know, you and I talked about this. I was like, I think there's been one time in my entire life that I had an interview that I didn't get the job. Like, if I can manage to land the interview, oh, it's a wrap, baby. It's fine.
Wrap.
But the landing that interview is so hard. And you know, to your point, you had to do some things in order for you to position yourself for them to even give you that shot, which was that volunteer work. Like, if I could just get in front of them, which is why I can't wait till we talk about networking, because there's so other ways we know now to get in front of people. So yeah, okay. So tell me about the skill stacking. So you get into this position, keep going with the story.
So get into the position. Mind you all, they only had one position available, but I interviewed so well that they actually ended up creating two. Because the leader said, there's no way, I need the person that, you know, we also interviewed, but I also like your charisma. I like how ambitious you are. I think you're going to be a good hire. And I was. From there, it was up and stuck. Once I found out the certifications that I needed to, there were LinkedIn Learnings. There were Coursera's that my company actually sponsored for us to take for free. We also got our tuition assistance and reimbursement. So I took advantage of that. I also networked internally, so I'll touch a little bit on that as well. But internally, I sat with individuals that had skill sets that I wanted, whether that was project management, program management, IT, HR analysis, whatever that was. I scheduled time, and I know we'll talk a little bit more about your network and how important that is. But I stacked different skills. I achieved a 1 degree. Then I was like, I'm going to get bold. I'm going to ask my leader, I would like this certification, and I want you all to pay for it. And what you don't know about some of those certification and those companies that offer them, they'll give you like an actual canned email that you can send to your leader that's like, we'll help you convince them. I sent that.
So wait, you're saying the certification company, so let's say you're trying to sit for your CISP or something like that. That organization is going to have like a template for you to send to your employer to try to get them to pay for it.
Yep, with a flyer and a breakdown of the cost and the return on investment. And it'll explain all that in the email. And once I sent that and it was approved within 24 hours, I said, oh, you've created a monster.
I'm coming for all the things.
I said, you've created a monster. So from there, it was up and it was stuck. I got certification after certification. They would mention different projects that were on the horizon and say, well, oh, but we need someone that's certified in this. We need a practitioner for that. So when I say I left that company with everything that I could potentially have, 2 masters, 4 certifications, and a plethora of LinkedIn Learnings and Coursera's, I'll be fine. That is something that I help my clients do, is we sit down and we have those conversations. What's your ultimate career goal? Let's assess where you're at and how can we skill stack you all the way to that point? How can we upskill you to that point to where your application comes across their applicant tracking system? We're getting you in that interview. And then I'm coaching you through how to nail that interview.
Listen, oh my God, like the ability to just, this really explains like the ease I feel like I had, and I feel like you had with the layoff, was like, I can't even be mad. The way you started off was like, I'm not mad. How can you be mad when you left with all of that? Like, I left with everything. You can't never take none of these certs back, these 2 master's degrees y'all paid for. Y'all, I got exactly what I came for. You know what? It's kind of like going back to relationships. When you overgive and you don't get nothing back from that relationship, you'll be in your feelings. But when a relationship goes south, but he got you all the things, you'll be like, I'm not that mad. You know,
right. On top of a severance.
I'm leaving here with something. You came in here with Denzel energy. I'm leaving here with something.
Severance, and they're paying for my doctoral.
Yeah. Right. Oh, because the T is they don't get is that even though you got laid off, they're still paying for the degree you're seeking right now.
And any degree that I continue as long as I stay enrolled.
Y'all, she getting alimony. She getting alimony payments.
Alimony.
She getting professional alimony payments
too. And they know I'm gonna do it too. I was talking to my director. She's like, "You're gonna have that EDD in no time." I said, "And will."
Yes. Okay. So for somebody who's like, I want to stack these certs, and maybe their employer doesn't have this type of fringe benefit where they're willing to pay. How can they skill stack? How can they pay for these certifications even if they don't really have the money?
So a lot of companies have started to use like Klarna and Afterpay and things like that. So you can put it on a payment plan. But I also help my clients source which ones are free. Google sometimes has some deals for free. You have Harvard that would also create some, Cornell that will create some, University of South Florida that will create some. You just have to catch them and know when to find when they're actually running that special.
Mm.
And that's something that I help with.
So I'm so glad you mentioned those schools, because I worked at, I worked in higher education before we met and worked in higher education together, but I worked in higher education for over 15 years. And the company I worked for before we met, one of the things that they offered was, once you are a graduate, you're an alumni for life and you get perks for life. And as a student, you got discounts on all kinds of certs. I want to say it was like $25 that you had to pay, and they paid the rest of your cert, right? And so my sister had mentioned not too long ago wanting to go back to get another tech cert, and was like, oh my God, I didn't know that I could get, this covered, and going back to that school. So Black women being the most educated group of people, there's a very good chance that the college that you attended offers free certifications, but a lot of times the schools are not going to advertise that. They don't want to give up the money. They want to list it as like a perk to get you enrolled. But if you never use it, that's money that they don't got to think about. And so they may not have it on the billboard that you can come in here even after you've graduated and still take advantage of those benefits. So
yeah. And though they may not advertise it, or it may actually be just a discounted. And then keep in mind too, and this is something that I give my clients a little tidbit, so you all are going to get it for the absolute free, because I want people to take advantage of it. Once you get a school ID, whether you enrolled for 1 class, 2 classes, and you stopped, but you still have access to that school email, some of these certifications or these institutions like Project Management Institute or SHRM, you can sign up as a student membership, which is a discount. And then you'll get an even bigger discount on the certification.
Nice.
Don't
listen, that student email address, don't sleep on it, because it also gives you discounts on all kinds of things like Amazon Prime. I'm just, just to name a few. Groupon, just to name a few. I'm still getting student Groupon rates.
Hey, once a student, always a student. I know at the school that we worked for, those student email addresses still work.
You need to buy a laptop. You got to be a student to get student rates. I'm just saying. That's a resource that we sleep on sometimes. That student email address.
We do.
It's still active. For someone who's broke and underqualified. What is the cheapest way to get qualified right now, in your opinion?
The absolute cheapest way is volunteering. I have a list of sites that I provide my clients where they can get volunteer opportunities that align with what their career journey is, free. You're not going to get paid, and you get to set your hours, and a lot of it is remote, so you don't have to show up in person, right? So it works off of your schedule. That is the best way to get some sort of experience that can actually that you could put on your resume to get that interview. LinkedIn learnings are cost effective, but Google often has those certifications that they do that a lot of people don't realize and don't take advantage of. So anywhere from project management, change management, if you're into data analytics, they have them. And then I would also say Coursera, which is another one, often has some free ones that are linked to some of those colleges we talked about, which is another way to get those student emails. So it's a plethora of different ways.
I love that. Okay. So I got an opposite question, right? What do you say to people who are the me's and you's of life, right? The nerds, the lifetime learners who may feel like in some positions that they're overqualified and they're afraid of getting edged out because their resume looks too long, and they're like, why would you even apply for this, right? But you want the job. What do you say to those people?
I say get rid of that imposter syndrome immediately. Not on my watch. Call me Jan Van Zandt. When I say that it is not your problem to worry about if a company sees you as overqualified, it is not. And I don't want anyone to have to diminish who they are on their resume in order to get a role. That if you feel like you have to do that company was not for you to begin with. Just being honest. And also with that,
Hold on, y'all. Wait, I gotta pause, because she said, even if you are, pop your shit.
Basically. Because we have to think about it. We're going to be judged if we don't, regardless. So why not put it all on the table and then see what happens from there, right? And one thing I like to talk about in my interview is, yes, pop your shit, but at the same time, you don't want to enter the interview very pompous and, you know, all of that. So there is a way to convey that you are a person that's still learning. There is some added value that you can give to the company, but the company could also pour into you. So that's something that I talk about in my coaching sessions. But being overqualified to me is a cop out for imposter syndrome, and I hate that people do that to themselves.
Okay, I like that. I like where you're going with that. I like that balance of confidence, like not self-deprecating,
right,
but also with humility, like being able to humbly say, I'm that girl.
Yeah. And I'm trying to convince you in this 30-minute interview that we have that what is reflected on my resume is not something you should see as a threat. Instead, you should see it as an asset. And let me tell you why.
Well, that's such a good point, is that sometimes when you are overqualified, the fear isn't even just in, will they wonder why I want this job because I should be seeking something else? It's the fear that the person who is in charge of hiring you will immediately see you as like a threat to their job, and the fear that you're so qualified that you're going to come into an environment that's hostile because they are afraid of what you'll do, and either they won't hire you or you'll come in and it will be uncomfortable. And I love that idea, but oh well.
And that's where the journey of helping my clients research the company. I love LinkedIn. So once you tell me, hey, I got the interview, we're looking up the person you're interviewing. We want to make sure that we make that connection and that we can drive that point home. You get one shot in that interview. Why waste it?
Yes. Y'all gotta come back every night this weekend. Okay? Every night, because we got so many more gems to drop. And we're trying really hard not to go into conversation that we plan for another night, because I see Tam dipping her big toe in LinkedIn conversation already.
I'm sorry.
And we got a whole day dedicated to that particular platform. So if you guys are enjoying this conversation, say Tam in the comments. TAM. Type Tam in the comments if you're enjoying this conversation. Okay, if Tam is eating it up, let me know. If you guys have any questions, also drop them in the comments. If you guys are watching on TikTok, you really need to be over is on YouTube, because that's where I can see your comments. I see you. I know you can hear me over here, but you can't see Tam. So I'm just saying, the link is in my bio. You might want to write yourself on over here. But I'm giving y'all the earshot. But I see y'all over here, but I can't really see y'all over here. Y'all over here in YouTube land, continue to share. If there's somebody you know who is in search of a job right now, or just miserable in their job right now, who's lost their passion. If there's anybody who feels like their job is currently being threatened, if they're afraid because of what's going on in this current administration, please be a good budget bestie and share this with them right now. Don't wait. Say join live, because ain't gonna be no replay unless that is you're in our group, then there will be. Share it now. Be a good friend. I was speaking of something that you were talking about before. I was telling Jordan, as you guys know, first of all, can I just have a moment?
Oh, gosh.
I didn't even go here. Today's the first day of school here, and today was my baby's last first day of school. So I'm grieved today. I dropped off at school and immediately went back to sleep. I think I needed to sleep through.
I think that's really what it was. It was.
I thought I was sick, but I think I just.
It was not a sniffle. It was not a cough. It was absolutely heartbreaking.
I think I'm emotional sick. I slept until 11 o'clock after I dropped off. Yeah, my baby is in her senior year of high school. And so last year, she got her first big girl job. Now, y'all who follow her, y'all know that she's had her own business for the longest now. She wrote her first book when she was 9, published it when she was 11. And so she's had a way of making money for a while. But for herself, but she wanted the experience of having a big girl job. First of all, I wanted her to get this experience because I wanted her to understand how much faster she could make her money on her own.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another day. But I also wanted her to be able to develop, because there is such a good value in working in a 9 to 5 job, because you understand what it feels like to be an employee, what you're looking for. Because as a boss myself, I know what kind of leader I want to be because of the things I experienced as an employee. So I was excited for her about getting a traditional job. And I had a big conversation with her about remembering that you are not here for this paycheck, right? That you're here for something super specific. You are here to develop skills. So every week I want to know what skill you're learning this week. I want you to understand how it transfers in someplace else. You're here to build relationships, right? Those are the two main things you're here for. Because if you start thinking you're here for a check, you will be handcuffed to this job. And I know for myself, for a long time, I wanted to leave and do something different, but I was afraid because I felt like I cannot afford to not get this check.
Right.
I can't afford I couldn't gamble, right? Because I hadn't been groomed with the mindset that I was here for skills and relationships, and those two things would allow me to make a bigger check later on. And so I really wanted her to come in with that mindset. And so I love that you talked about that a little bit, as far as like, you leaving your job with all these certifications, and LinkedIn network that's insane, right? That made this transition easier. How does the mindset help people who already feel like they have golden handcuffs, or how does it help people avoid that feeling entirely?
I want people to look at skills as leverage and relationships as opportunities.
Okay.
If you align your passions with what you want to do as far as getting money, then what do they say? You'll never work a day in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you won't feel like you are handcuffed to the desk, handcuffed to the money, like you absolutely can't go anywhere or pivot or do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the worst thing you could be is trapped in a high-paying job with no passion.
Oof.
That's where that difference of job hunting, of what we were talking about, versus career planning. Because if you're job hunting, you may essentially navigate your way into a job or a role that the paycheck you're blinded by because it's beautiful. But then you realize, I've slept on my goals. I've slept on my dreams. I'm not able to do what I want to do. I'm living to work instead of working to live, right? We talk about work-life balance. And that's no way to live. I couldn't imagine that. But if you think strategically and you career plan, then you won't be blinded by the handcuffs. You'll probably know when to leave that job because you've got everything that you need. And you'll know where to cut that cord and move on to the next opportunity with that new relationship you built, or move on with those next skills and leverage them somewhere else. So
Oh, can we talk about like knowing when to leave for a second? Because it made me think of, again, back to relationships, y'all. We're gonna be doing a lot of this back and forth with the parallels between relationships. Because you ever stay in a relationship way too long, like you knew you should have been left, and what you most pissed off about is not how it ended or why it ended, but how much time you wasted. Because in your gut, I should have left 2 years ago. And you stayed hoping for something better that never actually came. And you knew that your time was up at this job, but you were afraid of what was next because it wasn't certain. Because the money was good, right? The D was good. The direct deposit in this case, right?
It was. I mean, admittedly so. And you and I have talked about that. I had given 2-3 years ago my job this time frame. It would have been 10 years. Next week that I had been at the company. And I had said, after that, like, they won't see me at the top of 2026. I have to make a career transition. I've been there. I've been fortunate to navigate, but I was like, it's time for me to go. This little nudge was what I needed. They pushed me straight out that nest. Boom.
Good kick.
And it's funny, we joke about the day that I texted you and I was like, did I say I got fired or I got let go? One of those. I think I think it was 3 words, to be honest with you.
All I know is I was on a client call. I was on a client call. I saw the alert and I looked at the message and I was like, whew.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm a call you as soon as this call ends. But I feel like it was like 3 words, and it was super succinct. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna call you when I got a good window.
And when you called, I was leaving Starbucks and I was getting food. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And you were like, huh, interesting. You were trying to navigate that. But that was because I had realized, one, I was probably already overstaying my welcome in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this was my opportunity. We had talked about it for 2-3 years. Tam, you need to jump out there, try something different. I wanted to. I felt like I collected all the degrees and certifications I could, and I wanted to test them somewhere else. And that was my opportunity. They just pushed me a little bit sooner than what I wanted, but then they also paid me to do so. So that's a beautiful thing.
Right. Ironically, that was a similar story of how I ended up leaving the company as well. It was like, you got to be careful what you say out loud to God.
You have to. And I had been saying it too much. I said at the top of the year, I said, well, this is it.
This is the last year.
I said that to so many people. God said, bet.
Mm-hmm. And so you gave him a 10-year mark. I came into the company and was like, 5 years. I'm gonna give the company 5 years. And by then I think I'm gonna be ready to pursue entrepreneurship. 5 years almost to the T came around, because it was like October, I think, and I came in December. So it was like a month off.
Literally.
Almost on the nail, where I was like, I mean, but you know what? Sometimes you do have to be pushed. Sometimes they leave you in a relationship, and it was what's needed, because God knew that you was going to hem and haw. So I made him dump you. So this is what it is, and now you can move on to what's better. What I have better for you, since you was going to stick around past your expiration. He knew better. He knew to like.
And I like how you tied it to a relationship, because we have sat in relationships where we like, this ended 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we are. Mm-hmm. Is it the companionship I'm seeking? Is it the consistency that I'm seeking? Is it the fact that I really don't want to get back out there in the dating world? Same thing with job searching.
Yes. Oh my God. Yo, the parallels are insane.
I hear people say that.
You swiping left and right on jobs.
Honestly, that needs to be an app. If someone could develop that, where you preload your resume, you preload everything you need, and you could just swipe left or right and automatically apply. My gosh.
Job match.
I need a UX designer immediately, because that is money. That is money. But we think about it's really relating to relationships. You don't want to get back out there because you're like, oh man, it's uncertainty. I really enjoyed the cushion paycheck, like you talked about. I really enjoyed the camaraderie. His family was great. Her family was great, right?
Right.
I got to get back out there. I got to go on first dates.
I got to get to know you all over again, and all the coworkers, and
I got to
hope you stay here, because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Like, that really literally is a lot of times why people don't move from company to company, because they are afraid. They don't know what's coming for them, and it's just easier for them to wrap their brain out of what the discomfort they currently feel. And they say oftentimes we won't change it, to the pain of staying the same hurts more than the pain of change. And it's like the job got to be miserable. That man got to be miserable for you to finally get up and leave. We're not waiting for that in 2025. We damn sure ain't waiting for it in 2026, but I'm going to go ahead and speak on right now. We're not doing that no more.
Right. And how dare we upskill, level up, skill stack, and then not test our abilities because we deserve better somewhere else? Why would we sit there? Ask myself that same question. Why would I sit here?
That's why I'm laughing, because I know the parallel in here for you. In the back of your head, like, now why would
you look to it.
I gotta test this out.
Right. When you look at him, and his breathing starts to annoy you. Breathing too loud. I don't like it. The way you eat that soup, I never noticed, but I didn't like it. I have outgrown you at this point. It's not me. Or it's not you, it's me.
I'm too big for this container. Lord have mercy. Okay. So you ready? Imagine in a person. They're like, okay, I'm hearing this conversation. I'm ready. I feel like I've outgrown the company I'm at. Where do they go to research a company before applying or accepting an offer?
A plethora of places.
Spill. Where are we going?
immediately the company website, immediately Glassdoor. If they've been silly enough to have a Facebook page, you're going there too. If they have tagged employees on that Facebook page, you're going to their pages. I talked about LinkedIn. We have Glassdoor, Blind, all those places where you can get those reviews. But those are just a few. There's a couple of different places that you can go to get your research, get your FBI on when it comes to some of these companies. Because again, you want to make sure you're aligned just as much as they're aligned with you. We're not job hunting out here, at least not with me. We're career planning out here. So we want to make sure your next move is a good move, strategic move.
The first time I ever did any kind of like background was like the last corporate job I had. Looking into Glassdoor was one of the companies I used to look and see like what the interview process was going to be like. One of the things I had observed was it seemed like a lot of people moved from position to position, and so it made me feel like, okay, you don't get stuck in one job, which is what I was afraid of. My company before that was you kind of like stuck in a position because they didn't hire very often. But I saw people moving around, and I also noticed that there were people in leadership roles who were young, who were people of color, and it made me feel like, okay, that they value you regardless of your age, they value you regardless of your background, and it made me feel confident that I would be able to come to this company and I had the opportunity to possibly move. And when I came in there, it was true. It was, I saw young people in real life who moved from position to position while I was there. You are one of those people who moved around from role to role and was young and moving as fast as you wanted to move and as well as fast as you wanted to develop yourself. For a position I had interviewed for a couple of years ago, I got to find out, thank God, because I would have been like in panic hearing this from them, but I knew in advance that they were going to have me do a panel interview and required me to do like a slideshow presentation where I demonstrated to them my skill set as a financial counselor. And I never had a job interview that required me to like present like they're an imaginary class that I'm teaching to. And so I felt more prepared. But you had given me a gem. Gosh, I'm getting into LinkedIn because I want to save this for the conversation. But like, you gave me a gem on LinkedIn that I never thought to do. So we're gonna cover that on, I don't know if it's Wednesday or Thursday, but later in this week we're gonna cover that some more because those are levels of research that I never really thought about before, and it did make a difference in how confident you feel because you get in a committed relationship. I want to know, do you pay your child support? That's neither here nor there.
Y'all looking at his Facebook anyway. What's the difference?
Background checks, folks. Okay. Okay, next. We can't ignore the political climate right now. Okay. We're in the thick of it. We told y'all it was gonna happen. It's a conversation for another day. Y'all didn't believe us, but anyway, 92% of us told y'all this was gonna happen, but we in it now. And between budget cuts, and layoffs and policy shifts, job insecurity is real. It is felt every day. Even if they have a job, I'm hearing so many people feel such a lack of confidence and anxiety around whether they're going to have a job tomorrow, and it's scary. And, as we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, Black women are being impacted the hardest. What are some red flags that people can watch for when evaluating a company or a work environment that might not be safe or supportive? Like when they're looking, how can they tell that this environment might be hostile?
That goes back into a bit of research, but let's say you're in the company already, right? And you're trying to figure out, like you said, I'm miserable. Do I jump ship now or do I wait a little bit? We'll speak to that. You want to start noticing budget cuts. That's the first thing companies do. Budget. Things that seem to be like a quick little checkbox is no longer a checkbox. Start canceling events, right? All of a sudden, events that were typically held or leadership gatherings or anything like that, they're removed off the calendar. If you notice, leadership, in my opinion, and I do mean upper leadership, is a little more testy, a little more walking on eggshells. You feel like you have to. They're a little more like snippy with people, or they just seem restless. They're probably having to make decisions. People forget that in HR, those layoff lists are typically done months in advance. So they laid me off in July. They probably knew they were going to have to do so in May, right? So you start paying attention. Is your leader asking you to, could you compile and let me know like what it is that your role does? Can you kind of map that out step by step?
They want you. Can you create some SOPs?
Yeah, can you create basically a handout, a guide to do your job? That's a sign. But then also, it's important to your point to pay attention to the political climate. I mean, we both worked in higher education. This administration was targeting Department of Education. The night of the election, I knew.
Right. We talked about it. We knew it. We knew it was coming.
I said it's coming. I said there's something that's going to have to hit, if not one round of layoffs, two. Because this administration is targeting that. You also need to see that the administration is also targeting government jobs. We see that. They were the first ones, right? That loyalty mess that he's on. We also need to see how that's going to trickle down now. You now have over 400,000 plus people entering the workforce. Retail jobs, we're going to start seeing some of those companies close, some of those locations. I think, wasn't it At Home? I told you that they said At Home is going out of business.
Yep.
If you want to go sale. But hate to laugh at it, but that's the reality. So if retail is now being affected, they're downsizing. We can only imagine customer service after that is next. We have a lot of companies that invested in AI when they were given those tax breaks over the last couple of years. They were investing in AI for this very moment to have to let people go. So we just have to be smart and strategic. And I think a way that we can all stay ahead of that, whether you're internal already in your company or you're trying to do a career shift, pay attention to the climate, pay attention to the economy, pay attention a little bit to politics. You don't have to know everything, but just be mindful and be ready.
Thank you. Those were some good tidbits. I never even thought about some of the things like holiday parties, the gifts, they used to buy us lunch. Those are signs that they're having budget issues, and the next thing that's going to go is staff. Yep. On the flip side of that conversation, what are some green flags that signal that a company's values and its employees, that they value their employees and pays them what they're worth? What are some green signs that they can look for?
I think a company that is willing to stand on business, both internally and externally. Let's take Target, for example, right? They didn't stand on business, but a Costco did. That's letting you know right there that they're willing to take whatever hit they need. And they're also growing. I think they also hired about 500 associates around that same time. So they were growing and expanding. They took the leap there. Their corporate office also expanded. I think some other signs that an organization cares is if you are looking into their culture and belonging, or DEI, formerly known as DEI, policy. Do they have that somewhere where you can find it right on their website, or is it hidden, right? Are they hiding? You go to their social media like I had you do for your job. Is it diverse or is it not diverse, right? And we're going to talk about LinkedIn, but if you go to their LinkedIn and you're looking up all the people that actively work there, do they all look like the same person? Just copy and paste Susan, Kelly, Brittany? Or is there Amir? Is there Justin? Is there Brittany? Is there, whatever have you? What does that look like? Those are also signs that company is really thriving and probably doing what they're supposed to. So there's a couple different ways that you can assess a company's health externally if you can. Internally, it could be a little bit different.
Love that. Man, this conversation has been so good. Y'all, if y'all are enjoying the conversation, tell me your favorite part. Tell me which gem she dropped that you are glad that you were on the live to hear. Also, if you guys have any questions, I'm telling you right now, while she here, you better answer them. You better answer them. Ask your questions. We want to hear them. Sharing some of the comments in here, job hunting for a paycheck. That came from Talisha. Amazing. I love that. Oh, great. What a great question. We see y'all in here.
Yes.
Did it, shared it alive. Tam, we got some Tam here. That means that they were appreciating this conversation and enjoying it. Job offer is another relationship that some of us mismanage. Yes. Whew. A job is another relationship that some of us mismanage. Talk about over giving in every relationship I've ever had, including a job.
They can relate genuinely.
And this gonna get into the psychology thing because
that's what I was going to say. I'm thinking narcissists and all how they show up at work. Their terrors there too. Like it's a thing. It's a thing.
My brain is over here like, how you show? You have me a whole list of questions to ask about somebody and how they show up in their job.
Financial abuse. Financial abuse.
Yeah.
You've been working for the same company for 5 years, but they haven't given you a raise,
and you've been tolerating it. You probably tolerate a lot at home too. You know what? This is a conversation.
Yeah.
This is an Unfuckwitable Friday spinoff conversation because, baby, this right here. Sharon said, I love all of it. Yes. I'm glad that y'all are enjoying all of the conversation. Are y'all gonna come back tomorrow?
Tomorrow is extended time. And then also, I did want to. Oh, I see. Yatika said LinkedIn. Oh, one of the gems. LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn is powerful.
Yes, and Watika, you are in the group coaching program, so you are actually going to get an extra 30 minutes of direct Q&A. She is actually going to come into our Zoom. We're having like a bonus class on Tuesday. She's actually going to come in and give you guys an opportunity to ask more specific questions, so you guys can come on screen. If you want her to eyeball your LinkedIn and give you some feedback, she's going to give us 30 minutes of her time. So that is a perk of being in here. It says Lewis Harris family memories. I'm not really sure. This is clearly someone related to me.
Love it. We need an hour.
I think we must got a family page. Yeah. Love it. we need our young people to hear this. Love this. Yes.
I also wanted to say too, to those individuals that will join us on Tuesday, I'm going to be providing 10 free 30-minute consultations that Betty will have that link. So you'll be able to get first dibs on those.
Ooh, y'all better show up Tuesday. I know it's not your regular scheduled class day because class is on Mondays and Wednesdays tonight at 7:00. And y'all, if y'all watching and y'all have class tonight, check the Facebook group. Make sure y'all bring y'all calculators, your pens. Today is a high implementation day. We're getting the numbers today, so make sure you print out your flying guide for class, log into your portal. Okay. For those of you guys who are wondering what I'm talking about, cohort 2 of the Love Yourself Back to Wealth group coaching program goes live October 22nd. We are in open enrollment right now, and open enrollment will end on August 31st in honor of No Spend September. Because if I'm asking y'all not to spend in September, I'm not going to let y'all enroll and buy no products from me in September. I mean, y'all could always go on my website and buy stuff, but open enrollment is going to close. So if you want to get in cohort 2, I encourage you to sign up during open enrollment because it could fill up and then you got to wait till next year to get into the next group cohort. And as you can already see, I am connected to wonderful professionals who can help you in different aspects of your financial career, like Tam. And so you want to get in the community so that you have access to the resources that I have access to. Okay. So if you want to figure out how to enroll into Love Yourself Back to Wealth cohort 2, you are going to go to youngrichRooted.com / actually it's youngrichRooted.thinkific.com. I was like, let me say, wait. There's also a direct landing page, but my tech person handles that. I'm a little thrown off without the link itself. But if you're interested, just say so in the comments and I'll reply to your comment with the link so that you guys can get in, because I do only take a certain amount of students per cohort. So when it fills up, it fills up. You gotta wait till next year. So that's it. That's all. Tika said awesome. So she's excited about your 30 minutes of career coaching with them. I'm excited for them. Hey. Okay, got a couple more questions. Then we gotta wrap it up because I got class tonight.
You do.
And I want to give you back to your evening.
I'm enjoying unemployment.
I see. You really are. You went to the beach like the next day. Was it? Sit on the beach. Myself posting on.
I said, I don't have anything to do. I don't have deadlines. I'm not up at 3 a.m. And now I am doing homework, but I'm not up at 3 a.m. doing work. This is
doing reports. That's lovely. Okay, so can you round this off with like painting them a picture of what the journey of career planning looks like? Like they're like, okay, this is something I think I would want to do. What would be the process both in the short term and the long term if they were to decide to do career planning?
Yeah, so career planning can be just as simple as us having a discussion for those short-term goals. If you're not quite ready to make a leap, if you're not quite ready to leave your company, you're not quite ready to really focus on career strategy because you're working on other things, financing, budget, whatever that looks like for you, then I'm comfortable with having you give you a little bit of homework, research, also aligning your values, understanding what you're good at, what you're not, what you need to upscale in, and give you some time. That could be over the course of a year even, to kind of work on that. Long term, what career planning looks like, at least with me, is I'm with you from the beginning to the end. So my goal is for you to say, I got the job, Tam. That's where I want to be.
I love that.
And that can be from us reviewing your resume, making sure that's qualified and up in order, upskilling. I'll even be a study buddy for some things, help you with some flashcards if I have to, and help you set up and organize that. But then also not only helping you rebuild that confidence and changing your mindset. I think people forget, like we talked about the relationship, it's going to be so draining. You got to change that type of mindset when you enter a space like that. But then also when we look at the interview process, that's when you win it. That's when you lose it. I used to be a recruiter as well. Betty will tell you. And I had more people talk themselves out of the job than into the job. And I'm like, man, you're perfect on paper, but what happened in this interview? Sometimes I was guiding them through the process. Like, you sure you don't want to give me another example? No, like, you sure you don't want to? I'm happy to help that. So your career planning could look a little bit different. If the short term, it could be valuable, something for you to work on, a little bit of homework for yourself. But then long term, it can be that process that we're kind of walking through together.
Love that. So many gems, Tam, that you dropped tonight, family. If you got at least one takeaway that you're like, you know what, I'm about to apply that. I'm about to keep this in my heart. Drop a heart in the comments. If you got something, if she says something that you love, drop the heart in the comments.
I hope so.
What I want y'all to leave remembering, career planning is not a luxury. It is a survival skill. Okay. It is a survival skill. It is something that you do to keep your nervous system intact. I say financial self-care always begins with actual self-care. And so having a plan for how you earn income professionally, that is something that keeps your nervous system feeling safe no matter what is going on around you. When you know how to skill stack, when you know how to build the right relationships, when you know how to spot the red flags before they cost you, okay? When you know how to position yourself to be professionally unfuckwittable, you feel financially unfuckwittable, okay?
It all
Tamra.
all connected.
It is all connected, okay? And it goes into something that I talk about and I coach my clients around is developing a brag book, a place where you organize all of the things that you have done that help you pop your shit a little easier, that help you communicate and articulate your professional impact so that you do feel confident going into the job interview. Things that you can bring to your conversation with Tam so that way it's easier for you guys to get into career mapping because it's easy for her to see all that you are professionally. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a future conversation. I have some questions about what you would add to yours. But thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. I know we're over just a little bit of time, but I do want to thank you so much for your expertise tonight. And I thank you in advance for you coming back for the rest of the week. Well, through Thursday anyway, to continue to drop some gems. Hopefully everybody in here enjoyed this conversation. They're going to come back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So as soon as you clock out of work, clock back into this job right here, because this is the one that's going to help get you paid a little bit more. You clock out 9 to 5 o'clock, come on, clock back into YouTube Live, okay? Before we go, can we remind folks where they can find you if they want to work with you directly?
Yes. So you can go to IGotTheJobTam.com. That's my website. There's actually a schedule or book now link there for you. You can also go to my LinkedIn. I'm willing to connect on there as well. It's Tam Griffin. You can find me in that space as well. Thank you. Thank you. But as well. Those are the 3 places.
Love that. I'm gonna make sure I put that on the screen so that you guys can find her. Definitely when you go to her page, go find her link tree, because I want y'all to go find her link tree and go find her LinkedIn page. Stalk her LinkedIn page, because even if you don't know what to do on LinkedIn, just pay attention to what she's doing on her own LinkedIn page as clues of what you should or could be doing to position yourself. She'll talk about that more in the coming week. Again, I told you guys, this is just the beginning. This whole week, we are walking you through the Earn Pillar, which is the very first of 4 key skills that is part of the process that I teach inside of my Love Yourself Back to Wealth program. Guys, the more money you make, the easier it is for you to budget, the easier it is for you to save, the easier it is for you to multiply your goals or life goals at all. If you don't earn, what are we doing here? Okay. So some of you guys who feel like you're financially in the hole, you're stuck and you don't know how to get out of that financial situation, and you feel like you've cut out everything that you can't cut out. Mm-hmm. The only way to get out of the hole is to cut expenses or increase income. So this conversation is helpful so that you can figure out how to do to me, the more enjoyable solution to getting out of the hole, which is to increase your income. And then the next skill that you're going to have to master is budgeting, because I see so many people go and get the new job to make more money, and they find themselves back broke again because they never changed the root behavior that put them in that situation. So we don't want to just leave you on red, having you guys just got a piece of the story. You really want to master all 4 of the key financial skills. But earning, we need some money to play with. Okay, so inside of my group program, Love Yourself Back to Wealth, we go even deeper, and our members get access to replays like this one, and they also get exclusive discounts depending on what it is that we're doing throughout the year, and discounts when booking with experts like Tam. So guys, if you guys are thinking, I need a career coach, I've been wanting to do one, I'm not sure if it's something that's worth it, I'm telling you right now, invest in the areas you want to grow in. You cannot plant a seed and then expect a harvest. If you don't plant a seed, what you looking for a harvest for? Okay, you've got to sow something to get something back. So if you're trying to grow in your career, be comfortable investing in your professional development and hiring somebody who can help you, so that way you can navigate that process with ease. So again, group members get a small discounted rate with Tam. So join up for the Love Yourself Back to Wealth cohort 2. If you guys are serious about changing your relationship with money and your career forever, go ahead and click the link in my bio on the Young Rich and Rudy page, and let me know. If you guys have any questions, send me a DM. I'm sure Tam will answer your questions as well. If you're in the group program, you had to ask questions tomorrow night, right? We're going to be live here at 5, but the private Q&A for our group will be at 7 p.m., our normal 7 p.m. time. We're using the same Zoom link that we use for class. So make sure you book your calendar that you'll get to talk to Tam at 5 on YouTube Live, and then you'll also get to come to the group and talk to her directly inside of the group class. That's it. That's all. If you guys don't forget, again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about interview skills that get offers. Interview skills that get offers. So if you got a job interview that's coming, or you've been thinking about applying for a job, but you have been dreading the interview so bad that you're not even shooting your shot, come into the conversation. So what to do before before, what to do during the job interview, and how to follow up to secure the bag. You do not want to miss it. Set your alarms, hit the bell, bring a friend. Thank you all for showing tonight, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Thanks, you all.